The city of Nairobi was always alive. Tall buildings, glittering lights, and endless streams of cars reflected the pace of life. Among those lights lived a girl with a soft, innocent heart, Zuri. Her deep chocolate complexion, big eyes shining beneath long lashes, and curly hair made her stand out in every crowd. Zuri was a fashion designer. Her dreams were woven into threads and colors. One evening, at a family gathering, she met Io. He was tall, handsome, and always dressed in expensive suits. His eyes carried an unusual charm. The moment their eyes met, an unknown spark ignited in Zuri's heart. For both of them, it was a moment impossible to forget. Io began to meet Zuri often. He would take her to beautiful cafes across the city. Sitting there, he painted grand pictures of their future. "One day we'll marry," he whispered. "We'll build a house by the sea, where the morning sun will rise only for us." Zuri smiled every time he said such words. Her heart grew firmer in the belief that Io was her destiny. Every moment, every meeting, she stored like a precious treasure in her soul. Time passed, and both families began to see that Zuri and Io truly belonged together. Io started visiting her home often. Her parents were impressed by his charm and manners. Zuri's heart was at peace. Her love carried the blessings of everyone. One evening, holding her hand, Io said softly, "Zuri, you are the most valuable part of my life. I will never leave you." Tears welled in Zuri's eyes. She could never imagine that these promises would one day prove to be lies. Love sometimes hides shadows. Zuri noticed that Io often stayed busy on the phone. He would lock himself in a room for long conversations, and when she asked, he would brush it off. "Just business calls, don't worry." Zuri tried to silence her doubts. After all, love doesn't survive on suspicion. Yet, deep inside, a small unease refused to leave her. One night, Io visited Zuri's house and accidentally left a piece of paper behind. Curiosity drew Zuri's hand to it. The moment she read the words, her knees weakened. It was a love letter. The same sweet promises Io had always whispered to her. But this letter wasn't for Zuri. It was addressed to her own sister, Amina. Tears streamed down Zuri's face. The knife of betrayal pierced her heart. That night, she sat alone in her room. Candlelight flickered while her tears fell endlessly. "Was it all a lie?" she whispered. "Was I blind all along? I gave him my heart and he poisoned my own home." She broke down in sobs. Yet, amid the sorrow, a new fire lit in her eyes, the fire of vengeance. By morning, Zuri stood before the mirror. The same eyes that once glowed with love now looked cold and sharp. She spoke to herself, Io broke my heart, but I will never let him live in peace. A faint, dangerous smile curved on her lips. She had made her choice. The game would continue, but on her terms. Outwardly, nothing changed. Zuri still met Io with the same warmth. Io believed everything was fine. Proud of his cunning, he lived without fear. But Zuri studied him carefully, looking for weaknesses. She knew the most painful blow must strike where he least expected. Soon, a grand family event was announced. Both families would come together. Zuri decided this would be the day of Io's downfall. She kept the letter safe and quietly planned her move. As days passed, the fire in her chest grew stronger. Sitting with his friends, Io boasted, "Zuri is completely under my control, and Amina too. No one will ever discover my game." Arrogance blinded him. He never imagined that Zuri already knew his darkest secret. The evening of the event arrived. The hall glittered with lights, music, and the rhythmic beat of African drums. People wore vibrant traditional clothes, but none shone more brightly than Zuri. Draped in a crimson dress, with beads woven into her hair and a fiery determination in her eyes, she looked like a queen ready for war. During dinner, Zuri suddenly stood. She pulled the letter from her pocket. The hall fell silent. Reading aloud, her voice was steady. "My dearest Amina, you are the light that makes my nights glow." Gasps filled the room. When she finished, Zuri raised her eyes and declared, "These are the same words Io spoke to me, but this letter is not for me." All eyes turned toward Io. His confident smile crumbled into fear. Amina lowered her head in shame. Zuri's voice rang clear. "This is the man I trusted with my dreams and my honor. Yet he could not spare even my sister." The room erupted. Murmurs, shock, and contempt surrounded Io. His reputation, his pride, his relationships, all collapsed in a single instant. He turned to Zuri, but all he found in her gaze was cold hatred. He knew he had lost forever. After the event, Zuri stepped outside. Rain poured softly, washing the city's streets. She lifted her face to the sky and breathed deeply. "I lost everything," she whispered, "but I regained my dignity." Pain still lingered, but freedom was hers. No longer bound by betrayal, she vowed to rebuild her life with her own strength, her own dreams. Io's world lay in ruins, but Zuri had laid the first stone of a new one, her own.